Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources and really unpack the important stuff. Today, we're looking at something that, well, literally takes flight. Embraer. We've got a report here published today, September 6, 2025, all about this Brazilian aerospace giant. Our mission, to figure out how Embraer isn't just, keeping up, but actually setting the pace.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating, I think, is seeing how they're showing this resilience and a really forward-thinking approach. Across all their different business areas, we'll see how their portfolio, this mix of products, and their focus on innovation are, well, not just holding on to market share, but actively carving out a path for growth, for real influence globally.
Okay, so if you're following the industry, or maybe you're just curious about what's next for flying, stick around. We're going to get into some pretty surprising details, everything from commercial jets, executive travel, to, well, flying taxis, and even defense deals, right? Let's start with the big picture. The sources point to steady growth, even with, the shaky global economy. What's the main takeaway here about where Embraer stands right now? What's this growth really telling us?
I think the core message is pretty clear. Embraer has some really robust strategies, operationally speaking, and they're remarkably good at adapting. And you see this reflected powerfully in their backlog. End of Q2 2025, it hit $29.7 billion. That's a record, highest in their history. And, this isn't just stacking up orders. It's really about market confidence, building these lasting partnerships that guarantee future business. It suggests customers really trust them. They're betting big on Embraer's reliability and future solutions.
Wow, $29.7 billion, okay? And a huge part of that must be their core business, right? Commercial and executive aviation. The FlexJet deal, that sounds absolutely massive. Tell us about that.
Oh, it is. It's genuinely historic. A firm order valued up to $7 billion. That's the largest ever for both Embraer and FlexJet.
$7 billion. So what are they buying?
It covers 182 aircraft phenoms and Praetors with options for another 30. And you have to ask, why such a huge commitment from FlexJet?
Yeah, exactly. What makes these jets so special for that high-end market?
Well, it really boils down to the whole package. FlexJet's clients expect the best, right? So you get exceptional performance, sure, but also efficiency, cutting-edge tech, really luxurious cabins. Things like advanced avionics, really good range, and importantly, impressive short-field performance.
Short-field performance, why is that so crucial?
It means these jets can use smaller, more convenient airports. Thousands more, potentially.
Sure.
So executives can get closer to their actual destination, skip the big, busy hubs. It saves time, adds flexibility. That's a huge selling point in private aviation.
Got it. Efficiency, luxury, and getting you closer, faster. Makes sense. But okay, it's not just the private jets. Their E-Jets E2 family for commercial airlines, that's making waves too. What's the appeal there, especially with, fuel costs and environmental pressures?
Yeah, the E2s are really hitting a sweet spot. Embraer focused hard on fuel efficiency and cutting emissions right from the start. That's key. But connecting it to the bigger picture, it's about more than just saving money for the airlines. These jets, with their range being quieter, better performance overall, they let airlines offer sort of a mainline experience on routes that maybe didn't make sense before.
So opening up new routes or making
Yeah.
existing ones better.
Both, really. They can serve thinner markets more profitably, attract passengers who want that jet experience, not a turboprop maybe. It lets them modernize their fleets, expand their network, and do it with a lighter environmental touch.
Sounds like a win-win. And you mentioned they've got some big commitments.
They definitely do. SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, placed a pretty substantial order for the E195 E2. And then you've got Airlink down in Southern Africa, Virgin Australia, ANA Group in Japan. It shows real global reach, different airlines, different strategies, all finding value in these E2 jets.
Okay, fascinating. Let's shift gears, but defense and security, that's another big piece for Embraer, right? Strategic growth. The KC-390 Millennium sounds impressive. What's its reputation like?
Formidable is a good word. It's quickly built this reputation for just unparalleled versatility. It does a lot. It's not just a cargo plane. It handles aerial refueling, troop transport, cargo, medevac, even humanitarian aid in tough spots.
A real workhorse then, and that's translating into international interest.
Well, absolutely. That
Yeah.
versatility is why countries are signing up. Portugal, for example, a key NATO member, they're buying their 6th KC-390. That's a strong endorsement. And Sweden, also strategically important, they've ordered 4. So these deals are really expanding its footprint, boosting regional defense capabilities. It's becoming a serious player.
Right. Getting buy-in from NATO countries speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And then there's the A-29 Super Tucano. Panama just bought some.
Yeah.
What's the story with that aircraft?
Yeah, Panama's getting 4 A-29s for their air and naval service.
Yep.
They're the 8th country in Latin America to pick it. Its appeal, it's cost-effective, really durable, and it's capable for the kind of threats many nations face now. Think border surveillance, light attack missions, pilot training, fighting illicit activities like drug running. And crucially, its operating costs are low. So nations can boost security without, breaking the bank on super complex jets they might not even need.
Okay, so practical, capable, and affordable for specific needs. Now, it seems Embraer gets that selling the plane is just the start. Their services and support division looks really important. Just how big is this becoming, and what support are they actually offering?
Oh, it's huge. More than just important. It's like a strategic pillar now. Get this. The backlog for services and support is $4.9 billion. That's up 55% year over year. 55%.
Wow, what's driving that jump?
It's because they're signing these big, comprehensive, long-term support contracts. Customers aren't just buying a plane, they're buying the whole package, the lifetime support. So Embraer offers, well, everything. Material solutions, parts distribution, maintenance, repair, overhaul MRO pilot training, even digital services to predict problems.
So the goal is maximum uptime, keeping those planes flying. How does providing all that build loyalty and that recurring revenue you mentioned?
Exactly. Minimizing downtime is critical for any operator.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is their subsidiary in Portugal, OGMA, they do MRO work not just on Embraer planes, but others too. So they have deep expertise. By being that single point of contact for pretty much everything related to keeping the aircraft operational, Embraer builds, deep trust. It turns a sale into a long-term partnership. And that generates reliable, recurring revenue for years, even decades.
Right, locks them in a good way. So looking ahead, they're clearly not sitting still. Urban air mobility. That sounds almost like science fiction. Flying taxis. What's the vision there?
It does sound futuristic, doesn't it? But it's a serious venture for them. Eve Air Mobility. Eve is their company, developing these eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, flying taxis.
Yeah.
The goal is basically to revolutionize short-haul travel in cities, get people out of traffic jams and into the air sustainably.
Ambitious stuff. Was Eve getting traction? Investments.
Definitely. Which shows there's real belief in this. They've already got a $250 million contract from Revo, another urban air mobility player. And they also received a significant grant from FINAP. That's a Brazilian innovation agency. That money is specifically to speed up R&D on crucial things like batteries, autonomous flight, the ground infrastructure you'd need. So yeah, Embraer is positioning itself right at the front of this emerging UAM market. And that market could genuinely transform how we move around cities in the next decade or so.
Very cool. Okay. Beyond the tech, they're also thinking about geopolitics, economics, potential challenges. What are they doing to navigate that?
That's right. Showing some real strategic foresight there. They're actively looking at options like potentially manufacturing some components, maybe even whole freighter aircraft in the United States. Why? Well, it could help lessen the impact of tariffs, strengthen their foothold in the U.S. market by producing locally. Just shows they're flexible, adaptive, thinking ahead about trade issues and market access, not just reacting when problems pop up.
Smart move. And it seems like partnerships are woven into almost everything they do now, this global network.
Yeah.
Can you give some examples of how these collaborations work?
Yeah, that's a really key element. They know they can't do it all alone. Look at the KC-390 program again. Over 40% of its parts already come from European suppliers.
Yeah.
And after Lithuania bought the plane, Embraer signed agreements, MOUs, with like 8 Lithuanian companies for engineering, MRO, tech development, supply chain, integrating them into the ecosystem. And they're doing similar things in Poland, the Czech Republic, Sweden, Austria, setting up local training, maintenance capabilities. It builds deep roots.
So it's about more than just selling, it's building these local industrial ties too. Are they doing this in new markets or with tech startups for these future projects?
Both, absolutely. What's really interesting is how agile they are. They're talking with Saudi Arabia about a potential broad collaboration that could mean serious financial backing, plus a whole new market opening up for commercial and defense. And yes, for Eve, the flying taxi venture, they've partnered with tech startups. Iris Automation, Near Earth Autonomy, companies developing the self-flying tech.
So it really makes you think.
Exactly. Yeah. By linking up with this really diverse set of partners, governments, big companies, tech startups, Embraer isn't just an aircraft manufacturer anymore. They're building this interconnected, resilient ecosystem. And that ecosystem seems genuinely poised to lead aerospace into, well, a new era of global cooperation and innovation.
Wow. What an incredible deep dive. It's really clear Embraer isn't just reacting to the future of aerospace. They're actively trying to shape it. From, those future city skies with eVTOLs all the way to today's critical defense partnerships.
Indeed. We've seen how that mix of products, the constant push for innovation, and these smart partnerships, it's all paying off. Big-time growth. They're really having a profound impact on how we'll move people and goods through the air for, well, for generations, affecting global trade, daily commutes, everything.
So we've covered a lot. The record backlog, the flying taxis, the global web of partners, that full lifecycle support. It leaves us with a thought for you, our listeners. How might this Embraer blueprint, this mix of diversification, tech pioneering, deep global collaboration, how might that apply or inspire other industries you follow, maybe even ones totally outside aerospace? Something to think about until our next deep dive.